Welcome back to another episode of Ruthless TV, where I review Tyler Perry's The Oval scene by scene. Now let's get into this video. The first scene opens up with Bobby and Max stretched out in the front yard with plywood and debris all across their chest from the drone strike. And Bobby is a little bit disheveled. He's not aware, fully of what's going on. So Max had to let him know that they were hit by a drone and to be still, not to move, because he knew that after drone strikes that the attackers would be moving for any signs of life, which of course included movement. So he suggested that they be still. Max told Bobby that the president meant business and that he wanted to let him know that they were alive and that they were coming after him. But Bobby said, no, that's not a good idea. And Max said that he thinks that Lily actually gave them up. But Bobby said, no, it wasn't her. Maybe it was Diane. And I'll check with Diane, when she calls me back to check in. But the dramatic irony here is that Diane ain't calling him back. She's not available right now. So they don't know this, of course. Bobby says that they need to get out of there, and Max said that he had somewhere for them to go and to follow him. Then we move on to Killer Kyle. We see him in his apartment, dancing, listening to music, drinking, the usual with him. And, he's got his little genuine moment going on. He gets up and give us a little dance, give us, moving his hips a little bit. And that was the end of that scene. Then in scene number 3, we have Barry pulling up to the compound, getting out of the Scooby-Doo van. And then Dixon walks up and he wants to know where's the money. And Ruth told him that he did bring the money and that all of the money belongs to the Raku. Then Dixon wants to give Barry some type of lesson on Raku and the history and all that stuff. Barrett was like, look, I don't want to hear none of that. I need to find my daughter. Where is Callie? Where is my daughter? And we already know Barrett was going to be cutting up, right? And actually, I'm going to leave a link to both of the videos here throughout the video. So check those out if you haven't already. But anyway, both Ruth and Dixon are telling him he needs to relax. He needs to chill out. And they called Barry hostile and said that the white man had Barry wrapped around his fingers. Then Dixon says, I'm going to take you to meet the highest, right? And then he tells Barry that he has to be thirsty. But Barrett was like, no, I don't know where I am. Just, take me back to where you guys found me and I'll pretend that none of this ever happened. So he's trying to get back to his car in the parking lot, right? See, he should have thought about this before he jumped bad with the Rackadoochies in the van. He should have thought about all this. But of course, we're talking about Barry here. So there is no 360 thought with him at all. Then Barry starts yelling and screaming, for Callie. And then Ruth tells him, I wouldn't do that if I were you. And, you've been a little bit unruly. So she takes the bat and knocks him out cold. And then Dixon tells the Rackadoochie men, go ahead and take him on to the trailer, which is what we predicted, right? So y'all make sure y'all check out those videos. All right, so now we're moving on to Dale, and he's sitting in his truck. He's asleep. He's knocked out cold. Then Killer Kyle pulls out his flashlight and he's pretending to be the police, telling him, asking him, what is he doing in the truck? Why do you have clothes in your truck? Are you homeless? And of course, all the while, he's got this light flashed right directly in front of Dale's face. So Dale couldn't see that it was him. So he tells Dale to get out of the truck. And then when he gets out of the truck, of course, he sees that it's Kyle. And he was pissed. He really pissed him off this time. Then Kyle tells him, look, you can come to my house. You can come, and live with me in my bed. I know you'd rather sleep with me than sleep in the truck. And I'll just give you a second key to the apartment. And Dale was like, no, I'm not interested. Just leave me alone. And he was like, he threatened to tell his boss. And he just started laughing because Kyle was like, I'm kind of in bed with the boss. So that's not going to do any good. So anyway, he told him that he would, help him to leave Earth, and he wouldn't mind going to jail after he did it. But Killer Kyle was turned on by all of this, and none of that bothered him. And then Dale got in his truck and he left. So then we move on to scene number 5 with Richard calling Barry. And he had to leave him a message, of course, because Barry's a little preoccupied in the punishment trailer at the moment. So he left him a message, told him to call him back. And then we have Nancy coming into the room saying, oh, well, Barry didn't come home. And Richard was like, do it look like he'd been home? Do it look like he'd been home? And then Nancy was like, well, I want to talk. And he was like, I got to go to work. I ain't got time for all this. And Nancy was like, well, I want to talk. and I want to make this up to you, and I love you, and da 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 da. And she's standing literally all in his way. So she was kind of blocking him from moving out of the room. And he was like, if you don't move, I'll move you. He was like, look, you better get out of my way, woman. Right? So she finally got out of his way and he left. So then we see Priscilla sitting on the bed and Sam coming home. And Priscilla was like, I thought I told you not to come back home. And then Sam is basically letting her know that he's got to get his things. And she was like, well, I threw them downstairs. So she didn't put him downstairs. She threw all of his stuff downstairs. And then she said, well, you just make sure you get all of your ish, out of the house, period. And he was like, well, did you take the $25,000? And she basically confirmed that, yes, she did. And she was going to take some more, right? Then Sam goes on to tell her that he's got, checks bouncing all over town. And Priscilla was like, I don't care. I could care less about those checks. But I really want the scenes between these two to be a little bit more intense, because this is a very heavy situation on their marriage. But the scenes are not living up to the severity of the issue. But that's just my opinion. Then Sam moves into the kitchen and takes a call from Victoria, and she's telling him that she wants to go running again this morning, and he tells her that he can be there in about 45 minutes, but she tells him, no suits this time. And he was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. They're making me sick to my stomach, literally. Then Victoria comes out of the bathroom, and then Hunter is a little suspicious because Victoria is actually smiling for a change. And he's very suspicious because he knows that Victoria is not normally happy. So he says that her smiling is basically making him uncomfortable. But he said he'll get to the bottom of it and find out why she's smiling so much. Then in scene number 8, we have Lily here looking for Donald, but she's calling Bobby on the phone. And then Max tells Bobby, don't tell her where we're going. Then Lily lets Bobby know, I'm just checking in, see what's going on. And Bobby was like very abrupt with her. He was very short with his answers. And she kind of detected that he was still mad because she doesn't want to come back to the cabin with the bears and the chipmunks. Then she wants to know when she's going to see Bobby. And then Bobby was like, well, I'll let you know. And she said, well, I want to come to the cabin. He said, oh, now you want to come to the cabin after they blew it up. So she wants to go to the cabin. So Bob was like, yeah, okay, sure. Just come on to the cabin. So, the cabin's not there and he doesn't even know where they're on their way to. So I'm sure Lily's going to be in for a little surprise when she gets there. Then we see Priscilla pulling up to Nancy's house in scene number 9. And Priscilla is on the phone. I really couldn't pick up this conversation because somebody was trying to talk to me in the background. So I'm going to have to re-listen to this part. So she's probably calling her lawyer, or I think she was talking to Diane or trying to call Diane because she wants to know what's in the package. And that's the only package that I can remember, is that Diane gave her the package. So anyway, she was on the phone. Then she gets off the phone. And of course, who do we see? Who do we see, y'all? We see Miss Jody. Miss Jody, look, Miss Jody will go to any extremes to be nosy, right? Miss Jody is outside with the broom sweeping the grass. And of course, at this point, Priscilla has to ask her how she's doing, right? And this is exactly what she wanted, because she couldn't wait to tell her that Sam came over there and beat Richard up. She couldn't wait to tell her that. But anyway, she told her about the fight. And then she also said that Nancy cussed her out like a dog in the street. So when Nancy came to the door, she apologized to Miss Jody like 6 or 7 times. But Miss Jody was like, I don't want to hear it. Miss Jody was really hurt. Her feelings were really hurt. But Nancy did apologize to her. Then continuing the scene, Nancy tells her about the fight that Sam had with Richard. And she said that she never seen Sam so mad. And Priscilla actually came over to talk to Richard, but Richard had already left for work. Then they had a little girl talk. Nancy's telling her that she feels like a weight has been lifted off her shoulder because now Richard knows about Picky and his dad. And then, of course, she knows that something's wrong with Priscilla. And Nancy says that whatever it is, that she hopes it works out, because Priscilla didn't tell her anything. She did tell her that they're going to get a divorce, but the divorce is going to be quiet and that Sam had made his choice. Then in scene number 10, we see Hunter and Donald, and Hunter is basically asking him about the drone strike, and Donald said, everything's fine. We sent a team over to confirm the deaths, and Hunter said, why do you have to confirm the deaths? And Donald said, we always confirm the deaths, and he told him to relax and that he had everything under control. Then Hunter told him that he wants to see the video footage of the building or the cabin exploding, and oh gosh, I'm gonna need this president to find something to do. Okay, he wants to see the video. He said that seeing the video is like playing a video game but in real life. Okay, Hunter, I'm done with him. Then he told Donald to excuse himself because he needed to make a phone call and to cue up the video. And on the phone call, he was reaching out to Ellie and told her that he had something for her to see and that he'll be waiting for her in his office. Then in scene 11, we have Sharon playing head doctor here with Kareem laying in the bed after the fact, right? So then as they're, having their little after sex talk, she gets a phone call from Richard, and Richard is asking her, has she seen Barry? She tells him no, that she hasn't seen him. And then Richard says that he would like to talk to Sharon, but he wants her to come to the White House. And then they kind of go back and forth, and Sharon is, wondering why she needs to come to the White House. And then he tells her that he wants to know if Barry ever talked about Ruth with her, so that he can kind of figure out their whereabouts. And then she said no, but Dale, their new employee, had gave Sam some information on their whereabouts, back at the pharmacy. So he said, well, can you guys come up to the White House? Because, he wants to bypass Sam. He doesn't want to have anything else to do with Sam at this point. So she agreed to go to take Dale to the White House to talk to Richard. And then Kareem, he's mad. He's in his feelings. He's tired of listening to the Barry story. So he just wants Sharon to kind of be over with Barry and their family. But, she can't really do that right now. Then in scene number 12, we have Priscilla entering the White House, coming back to work, when she runs into Alonzo. And Alonzo is spilling all the tea. He's got tea for days, right? So he's telling Priscilla that Kyle sent him to the police station to get the 911 tapes that were made between Jean and her boyfriend. So he just kind of gives her the story about, Agent Smith and Kyle not wanting him to say anything, and that it was a covert operation. And then Priscilla was like, well, why are you telling me? And Alonzo, I guess he just needs somebody to talk to. He has to, get it out because he knows that something's just not right with that. But she said that it was okay for him to talk to her, and she made sure that she told him to let Sam know as well. Then he went on to tell Priscilla that Sam was with the First Lady, and that's like the last thing she wants to hear. Then in another part of the White House, we see Sam and the First Lady going on their morning run, and he basically wants her to replace him with someone else, and she says no, and then he just says okay, like, all right then. Then they proceeded to run down the stairs and start, running and playing like they're teenagers. Then in the kitchen, Priscilla is on the phone. It looks like with someone she knows for sure, because she tells them at the end of the conversation that it's great to hear their voice, but she wants them to put her on their schedule because I guess she needs to see them or something. But we do know that it's very, very important. Then Sam and First Lady are done with their morning run, and then we see Richard coming out offering a towel and some water, and she tells him that she'll have some mango and beet juice. Then she gets back in Sam's ear, letting him know, how much she enjoyed their euphoric experience and how many orgasms she had. I mean, she's just full of crap to me. But anyway, he asks her if she took the morning after pill, and she was like, well, let me just enjoy this moment. Like, she's not really worried. I think she's pregnant. I bet she ends up pregnant. Then she goes on to tell him that she knows that he knows everything about her and the president, and what kind of sex they like and how much shopping they do online and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, she tells him that she knows that it'll never happen again. And then she gives him a hug and thanks him for just being himself. Crap. Boatload of crap. Then we have Richard re-entering with the mango and beet juice. And Sam apologizes, for what happened. And then Richard said, F you. Richard don't want to hear nothing from nobody. He's done with the wife and his friend. So Richard's he's on one right now. Then we have Priscilla moving up to Jason's room, and she knocks on the door and she just kind of bombards her way in. And he was like, well, I didn't tell you to come in. Then she says, is there something that you want me to see? And then Jason said, well, yeah, we can negotiate. What are you going to do for it? Then he asks her, do my parents know that you just walked into my room? Then she asks him to let her see the video. And he says, say please. And then she asks again very nicely. And he goes, well, since you're begging. And then he threw the covers back to expose himself to her. And she called him a pervert. And then he goes, do you want to touch it? And then she, walks out to leave. Then he says, well, come here, let me just show you. So he shows her the video, and it's Sam getting it in. Okay, I mean, like literally. It was just, I didn't know they were going to actually show it, but they showed it on the video. So she saw the first lady and Sam, getting it in. I'm done with that one too. I really feel sorry for Priscilla in this moment because she's dealing with a whole lot. I mean, the marriage itself, and then you got to go to work on top of all of that. You know what I mean? Then you got to keep seeing it and keep reliving it. Like, I don't know. I mean, she didn't get a copy of the video. Maybe she'll get a copy of it later, but I guess it was just too much for her to take. And so she just, went out of his room, and guess who she runs into on her way out? It's the first lady. And then the scene ends. And that concludes episode 15 of The Oval. I will be doing scene by scene breakdowns throughout the week, you guys, to hold us over until next week. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon too so that you're notified on all the videos that I post here on the channel. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Ruthless TV, and I will see you on the next one.